Hey everybody, Mozzie here to you, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. In the previous episode, we started off my favorite dungeon in the game, the Great Bait Temple, which now sucks because the ice arrows are complete garbage in this game. In today's episode, we're going to be continuing on through the Great Bait Temple. So, now that we've gotten the red pipe activated, let's go back to the beginning of the dungeon to figure out what we can do next. And a bit of a reminder. So, I didn't mention this in the previous episode, but I should mention it right now. We're not going after stray fairies on the first run through the dungeon. We're only going to be taking care of the dungeon itself. Stray fairies will be saved for a montage after the dungeon is over. So, as I also mentioned in the previous episode, the thing with the Great Bait Temple is that a lot of people seem to get really confused about this place. I don't really understand how they get confused because, as I also said in the previous episode, the big idea with this dungeon is that the simplest way to solve it is to go to the center room and then work your way down one room at a time. And this is going to continue being the case in a moment right here. So we go over here, and as you can see, the red pipe has been activated. So now we're able to go over there and activate the other switch. There we go. Thankfully, this geyser is just tall enough for us to reach this area. Otherwise, we'd probably not be in the best situation for this dungeon. But, as you can see, activating this one will... As soon as the animation is over, I thought it'd be over by now. Activating that will cause the other pipe to activate it because both of them are pressing against the wheel. Neither of them are going to have... the current going. So now what we want to do is smack our head against the wall right there because that's always the best way to get a concussion. Now we can go over here and activate this one so we can deactivate the water current. This is what I mean when I say I love this dungeon. It plays with the water physics so much throughout the dungeon. Like, we're changing the water current, we're freezing water and things like that. It's just such a really cool idea, and it's a real shame that they pretty much ruined this place by pretty much ruining the ice arrows and making the Zora swimming controls worse. And I do apologize because I keep harping on that. It's just something that I cannot ignore no matter how hard I try. It's just a very, very dumb decision that they made for this remake. And that's not what I wanted to do at all. Okay, that animation right there, I don't know what it is. I don't know what triggers it, but it always comes... at the worst possible time. Like, I didn't want that animation to appear because I want to land on the platform, but that animation made it so that we couldn't land on it, and it was not that great. There we go, we finally land on the platform. Are you kidding me?! Finally! Oh my goodness, that took way longer than I wanted to. Okay, so we've activated the pipe, and now we've changed the water current, but we don't want to go in there quite yet, and the reason for that is because there's a whole other area over here that I want to explore. There was previously a waterfall right here that we couldn't really do anything about, but luckily, with the super amazing powers of the ice arrows, even though this waterfall isn't sparkly, for whatever reason, this water can be frozen, not the other water. It doesn't even make a lot of sense, because when it freezes in the waterfall, cause it to freeze in place and not... Oh, good. And oh boy, more of the sparkly water. That's such a great change that they didn't need to make. I don't understand why they had to do it. It's really stupid. Alright, let's go over here. And the thing is, another thing about the words... Another thing about the sparkly water change is the fact that it also kind of ruins some of the puzzles as well. Not only does it just straight up give away the solution to a lot of the puzzles in this dungeon, but this one, for example, this has stray fairies in it, and if you're looking for stray fairies, then it was a really interesting surprise figuring out that, hey, these have holes in the wall, so you can use the water to get there, but now they have sparkly water in there, and it's just really stupid. Sparkling water ruins everything. I've never actually had sparkling water before. How different does it taste compared to regular water? Alright, let's go here. And just like when the water current was facing the other direction, we want to start from the very top room and work our way down one room at a time. And also, one change that I do appreciate in this version is that they seal off the rooms that we can't do anything about quite yet. This is a change that I'm 100% behind in this version. But now we're inside this room. Also, if you were wondering where that room was back there, I believe that was the room that led to the Gecko boss fight, so there's nothing we can do about that area anymore. And what can we do right here, you may be wondering? Well, we have the super amazing powers of freezing waterfalls. If you're playing on the Japanese version of the original game, good luck with this place, because the thing about this room in particular is that in that cutscene, it automatically makes it so that this area is all leveled and stuff like that, so we can walk across. In the original Japanese version of the Nintendo 64 version, you had to time it yourself, and it was not a very pleasant experience at all. Like, I was watching a friend play through the Japanese version, and she had a really hard time getting it lined up perfectly, and it was actually kind of funny to watch. Alright, so I believe it's only straight fairies down there, so we don't have to worry about that. So this right here, we'll be playing a lot with the, blah 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 words. I cannot talk right now, apparently, I apologize for that. The fire and ice arrows are going to be switching back and forth between them a lot, so that's definitely something that's very well worth mentioning. And just like how we can freeze waterfalls, we can now melt them as well. I don't remember for 100% sure if this was the case, but I seem to remember in the Nintendo 64 version, you couldn't have multiple magic arrows equipped at once, so whenever you equipped one, it would go over the regular arrow. I think that was the case, but I might be wrong about that. If I am, I'll put a caption on screen somewhere. But I really do appreciate the fact that you can individually equip the different types of arrows in this game, because it makes this room in particular so much faster, and it's really great. As for this little jerk... I didn't think that would bring him over to me! I thought that was gonna act like an arrow and destroy him. I didn't want to use magic and I only have the fire and... I only have the fire and ice arrows equipped, so I didn't want to use magic, but I also have shot to remind you so that logic doesn't make any sense, and now we got straight phrase, so this entire area was pointless. Oh boy! Destroy you. And destroy you. And fire arrows. Woo! Alright then, so now we're taking care of that, we can go over this way, and continue on our merry way through our path of glory. And now we're back in this room. So that's exciting, kind of, maybe, sort of. Continue over here, and continue following the path. And that will lead us eventually towards the next room. Aha! I eventually figured it out. Alright, so now we're inside of this area, a place we have not yet seen before. So what we want to do over here, continue following the pipes. And eventually that'll lead us over towards that area. And isn't that exciting? Ah! Alright, so this is what I mean when I say I don't understand how so many people get confused during this dungeon, because just follow the pipes, work your way from the top of the central room, and work your way downwards, and then you should have no problem. So, the thing is, I even asked people on the Zelda Discord server that the otaku artist shut up, and they didn't really seem confused about it as well, so I don't understand how so many people get confused about this dungeon, and I don't know, I'm just repeating myself at this point. With all that being taken care of, we can now go in here, and all there is left for us to do is take care of the boss, which we'll be doing in the next episode. So thank you all so much for watching this episode of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D, and next time, later gear to you. Oh yeah.